Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, and tonight we have guest Toni Ghazi. Tony Gazi, he is part of this Antarean Heart, channeling praying mantis collective from the heart. He's a channeler and spirit guide. He channels the Antarean Council of Light, the Greys, angels, Ganesh, Mother Gaia, Seven Sisters of the Pleiades, magic leprechauns, all that and more. And we will have him on. There's a lot to talk about, especially, we've had alien abductees, contactees on here, and we've talked about praying mantis beings and people's experiences. This is his experience through channeling, and we're going to get to maybe know more about who are these praying mantis beings. Extra-dimensional? Are they trying to help us? According to Tony, they are, and he's trying to help others. And we will open up the phone lines later in the show for you to call in. Tony will do some live channeling tonight on the show. Now, just remember, it's a phone call. We can't have you on for an hour calling into the show. So, there's only so much somebody can channel for you in about a 5-minute phone call. But we will take your calls later in the show tonight, and Tony will be channeling. So just wait in for that. And, of course, the weirdness continues, as always. So much weird going on. I came home praying my computer didn't have the blue screen of death like so many others had. And we're going to get into that in the World Wide Web of Weird, of course. So a lot of weird to get to. So let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guest, Toni Ghazi, will be joining us after the first commercial break, after the World Wide Web of Weird. But joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well, thank you.
And everybody put their prayers out there for Jamie's kitty. It's not been feeling well, so we won't have Jamie too long tonight because she's got a little kitty that she needs to take care of. So everybody out there in the chat, put your positive energy out there for Jamie and her little kitty, okay?
Little love bug.
Yeah, little love bug. That's right, little love bug out there. Everybody put him in your prayers and help little love bug. Positive thoughts, right, tonight? Positive thoughts. All right, like I said, we might as well get rolling into it. We got a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Oh, that ain't the wrong music. Tonight on the World Wide Web Weird, you remember last week we talked about the AARO's analyzing supposed UFO debris. We always wondered if it was arts parts or not, but they said testing revealed that it is most likely man-made from some kind of testing of materials out in the desert. We don't know. Whatever. Well, now we got MUFON has their own arts parts, maybe. I don't know. UFO materials. And soon to be tested. We shall see. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup radio network on Talkstream's live paranormal radio app, we are a live stream video. You can come watch at Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, but I will narrate as best as possible. Usually I have Rob. I don't think I have him tonight. Nope. All right, so I need to set up the share screen for this. We do have one video tonight. It's interesting. I should have told my sons to watch this one. Not this one. A story later. We'll get to that. Foreshadowing, as my son learned the other day. All right, hold on. Sorry, guys. A little rusty. Okay, there we go. And then first article, what did I say? Okay. We got some rare materials. You see that, Jamie? Is it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right. UFO hunters claim to be in possession of debris from alien spacecraft that is lighter than a petal. It looks like a petal. At the group's annual, and this is from Unexplained Mysteries, original article, Daily Mail, group at the annual symposium in Irvine, Texas, earlier this month, Ron James and Bob Spearing offered a presentation concerning unknown material with peculiar properties. Small fragments of the material, which is said to be anonymously light to the point that its weight is insufficient even to bend a flower petal, were actually shown at the event for the first time. According to MUFON, the material had undergone concerted testing using NASA-grade technology and was found to be around 90% unidentifiable. Unidentifiable. Onomatopoeia. I don't know. It's very, very light material, said Spearing. It almost looks porous, like it has pores. It has a tinge of gold on it, but it's basically a black material. Seems to be some sort of composite. It's so light it won't even bend a flower. The origins of the material are bizarre to say the least. According to MUFON, an individual in Russia named Arkady had obtained the samples from a non-human entity who claimed that they were pieces of a crashed UFO. Tests conducted at the group's Missouri lab failed to find a match with any known metal. This either means that it's A, not a metal, or B, a metal alloy that isn't recognized or something that is on the periodic table, said Spearing. The signal was unique because they have looked up the standard peaks for most known metals and nothing matched it exactly. It appears to be some sort of lightweight insulation suited to conductive insulating, something needing heat protection, which can correspond to it being a piece of debris from some sort of craft. You know, are they going to know what they're even looking at if it is alien? I don't know. But yeah, I knew what was going to happen with the ARO one we talked about last week. It could be alien. I don't know. Oh, well, it could be man-made. I don't know. Oh, wait, skipping ahead. See, I am so rusty at this. All right. Next up, talking about holes on the moon. Because, you know, we're supposed to be going back there soon, right? Scientists confirmed the first ever discovery of a cave on the moon. Thought to descend 100 meters beneath the lunar surface, this fascinating opening in a hidden subterranean world was discovered by Lorenzo Bruzon and Leonardo Carrer. I'm totally butchering people's names tonight. At the University of Trento, Italy, who used a radar to penetrate a pit situated on the moon's Mare Tranquilla region. I don't know. The cave was probably formed by lava flows millions of or even billions of years ago. While researchers were able to determine that a cave exists at the site, it's currently impossible to determine just how far the cave might extend away from the opening. That means that there could be a whole network of caverns beneath the lunar surface. It's really exciting, said Professor Carrer. When you make these discoveries and you look at these images, you realize you're the first person in the history of humanity to see it. It's not difficult to imagine a future mission to the moon in which astronauts descend into this mysterious cave in an attempt to explore further beneath the lunar surface. Might even be possible a base inside of it. After life on Earth began in caves, so it makes sense that humans could live inside them on the moon as well. Or maybe aliens are in there and there's already a base. And I think they've already knew about this cave on the moon, honestly. I honestly do. I think they've known about it. I wonder how far away this was from where the original lunar landing was.
100%.
They knew about this.
100%.
But now they proved it. Everybody, all the tests that they've done has shown that the moon most likely is hollow.
Did you hear about all the sulfate or sulfur they just found on Mars? All the
No,
sulfur rocks?
no, I did
Yeah,
not.
there could be big deposits or pockets of it.
I just remember the old Adam West movie where he's a astronaut gets stranded on the moon and he's able to like burn rocks for oxygen.
I think it was the Curiosity that found it.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll move on here. Let's see. Does this let me push forward? No, it doesn't. Okay. Let me go. Now we're on to Chupacabra. Mysterious livestock deaths in Mexico town cause Chupacabra concerns. A series of mysterious livestock this is from Tim Bindle from Coast to Coast. Serious and mysterious livestock deaths in Mexican town have farmers fearing that the infamous Chupacabra could be to blame. According to a local media report, the strange slayings have recently unfolded in the community of see, man, this is I am just butchering stuff tonight. Talaklipa? Boy, I don't know. Where to date, at least 9 animals have fallen victim to the unknown predator. Beyond the unfortunate loss of their livestock, what has farmers particularly concerned is the manner in which they were killed, as the downed cows, sheep, and goats, wow, this Chupacabra's been busy, all have been found with vampiric puncture wounds in their necks or torsos and drained of all their blood. The usual unusual aspect of the killings is given to the concerns that there is a Chupacabra roaming around the community, while more skeptical observers have put forward the possibility that a big cat might be responsible for the incidents. This theory has been dismissed by those who believe the weird deaths are handiwork of the notorious blood-sucking cryptid, as the predator neither ate nor took the remains of its victims. Citing the significant financial impact of losing their livestock, the farmers in Talaklupa, if I got that right, totally wrong, yeah, have called upon authorities to investigate the odd slayings before the mysterious animal attacker Chupacabra or otherwise strikes again. A big cat wouldn't just leave puncture marks. I'm not an animal expert, of course, but I think we all know a big cat is not going to just go up there and leave a couple bite marks and then leave the animal.
They usually like rip the guts and the heart out and stuff. And
they'll go for the throat first.
Yeah,
they'll go
head,
for the throat.
Some of the head off. I'm talking about like barn cats and the mice when you see the way they tear them apart.
They'll go for the throat and they'll slash at the stomach. You know, they'll try to disembowel it. Not to be gross, sorry.
Yeah.
But they're not just this is the classic Chupacabra thing. But the other probability, skeptics say it's a big cat. My other probability is a human.
Could be
messed up human. We got a lot of those. Probably a lot more of those than Chupacabras running around. And I've always wondered that. I mean, of course, we had the satanic panic of the 80s and stuff like that, but there are cults and crazy people out there that do crazy things. I don't know.
All they have
or it's
to do
Chupacabra.
Is hang it up and bleed it out, and then it's like, oh, it's dry. There's nothing in it.
Or, I don't know. But this has been going on a long time. Is it an animal? Is it a creature that's doing this? Draining them and killing them of blood. I mean, it takes a lot of it. You said a cow. Is there a fight or struggle? I'd love to know the evidence. We never could show it on here. But, I don't know. Moving on. Witnesses from, am I on the right one? I think I am. Witnesses from Missouri, I believe this is what I got, claims to have communicated with Bigfoot. We had a lot about Bigfoot in the last several episodes. I thought this was interesting. Man claims to have spoken to Bigfoot and says the conversation filled him with doom. Doom! That's why Bigfoot stays out there. He knows we're all screwed. This is from Unexplained Mysteries. There's an audio clip detailing a man's alleged encounter with a strange creature has recently surfaced online. There's a lot lately with Bigfoot resurfacing online. I'll got another one, too. The short clip, which comes courtesy of Bigfoot Society podcast, was recently posted by KHMOAM 1070 before being picked up by a number of other news outlets. In the details the experience of a man from northern Missouri who claimed to have not only encountered Bigfoot, possibly outside his own home, but to have communicated with the creature. I said, we don't have to be scared of each other and that we could live in peace, he said. I told him I didn't want to hurt him and I didn't want him to hurt me. He hit me with the infrasound and hit me hard. It made me physically shudder, and I don't know if there was a telepathic component to it or not. This is a lot what we talked about the last several guests. But what it felt is you could feel it go through your body. You didn't hear nothing, but it was like anger, fear, hatred, and doom all rolled into one directly at you. And I've heard that kind of description very similarly to people who've had these Bigfoot encounters like this, and dogmen especially. That kind of doom feeling of dread roll over them. Is that just survival instinct kicking in and encountering something unknown? This guy's already talking to it, trying to be friendly, but he's still getting this feeling. His comments are certainly intriguing and imply that the creature not only exists, but that it also possesses the ability to communicate through infrasound, a sound with a frequency beyond that of the human hearing. While there are some mammals capable of utilizing ultrasound, like bats, for instance, there are no known apes with this ability. Of course, whether or not the man's story is even true, it all remains a matter of debate. But it's interesting, everything we've talked about with Gus. He's saying he hit him with some kind of sound he couldn't hear. He was deafened by it. You could deafen somebody with sound. Infrasound, or they couldn't hear. So some of those descriptions might be right. And it could be a defense mechanism of this creature. I mean, our military has definitely done a lot of experimenting with infrasound to put people down, where they can't move, like literally make them throw up, or immobilize people with sound.
They use sound in songs and commercials and everything as it is. It can do a lot.
Yeah. But for a natural creature to have that as a defensive mechanism.
And when people hear it scream like so loud, what if all of a sudden it can hit, it's like a Mariah Carey, and it can like hit this other pitch or something that it's like a dog whistle?
Well, Mariah Carey can give me feelings of dread and doom hearing it. I don't want to hear it. It's Christmas time. It's Mariah Carey. No. Oh, God. I work retail, man. Tell me about it. It's like the dread of when the Christmas music starts. Mariah Carey's high-pitched, horrible wailing comes across the speakers, and you just want to kill yourself. I do not want to kill myself. It's just Mariah Carey just, can push it.
Want to gouge your ears out.
Over and over again. Yeah. Me. That's the horrors of retail, is waiting for the Christmas season to start and the horrible Mariah Carey loop to begin.
Oh no! It's
okay.
All I want for Christmas.
Don't start now. Do not start. Dang. No.
So TikTok fills up with it.
You'll summon the Mariah Carey. All right, let's move on. Mariah Carey or Bigfoot? What's got the worst infrared sound? She's got some kind of infrared sound. It just totally sucks my soul every time I hear her. Sorry, Mariah Carey fans, if I offended you. I'm not a fan of her musical stylings. Even when she's lip singing. Oh, sorry. I'll move on. Okay. More Bigfoot news. So that, this one I've been seeing making the rounds. Remember, I've talked about this. Land of the Lost! What is the Land of the Lost character? That's Chaka? Yeah, Chaka. Yeah. This is like 10 years old, this picture. But it is like recently resurfaced and gone viral. Of course, guess where? TikTok, yes, and other sources, but it's gone viral again. It's like recently back up for debate. And the problem is with this is we never really had a provenance for this photo to know if this was real. We've discussed it on this show a long time ago. And it came out before I started this show, but we had a Bigfoot thing where we discussed pictures once, and this was definitely, I remember talking about Chaka. Let it lost. All right, but this is from an Unexplained Mystery. Sometimes photographs come along that, despite being quite clear, seem so patently ridiculous and unlikely to be real that this is very difficult to actually take it seriously. The above image here, which was reportedly captured by a Bigfoot spotter, Stephanie Wood, somewhere in North America, is one such example. Oh, so we do have provenance with Stephanie Wood. While the subject of the photograph is certainly easy enough to make out, there's no getting away from the fact that the supposed Bigfoot looks like a lot like a child costume. We know what you're thinking. It's Chaka from Land of the Lost, Wood wrote on Facebook. I mean, she even recognized it, right? Our gut reaction is the photo is that it's probably a short person in costume, maybe a kid, right? But after you analyze it for a while, we're not so sure anymore. Could this be a baby Sasquatch or one of those hairy little people that pop up in the reports every now and then, which are described as squatchlets? Really? One thing we know for sure is that the truth is truly stranger than fiction. In more cases than not, Chaka or squatchlet. You decide. And surprisingly, the image, which has since been picked up by various news outlets, has been met with considerable degree of skepticism, with most users dismissing it as a hoax. It's not even particularly clear that the image was actually captured recently. No, so Unexplained Mysteries, I'll update you on that. It was like 10 years ago that this started to go around. And I remember 10 years ago, it didn't have a provenance. I don't remember it having a provenance, and that was one of my issues with it. But I guess it does. It was Stephanie Woods. I just didn't know. So it has a name attached. I'd love to hear from Stephanie Woods how this happened, how this picture happened. 10 years later, I did be interested to hear it. I don't know if this is a hoax. Little Chaka, Land of the Lost. Don't know. People talk about seeing little Bigfoots and stuff like that. It's definitely reported. And the deer in the image and everything is interesting. And I don't know. I always thought this picture was interesting. It's interesting it's resurfaced recently. I wish we had more on it. But, we're land of illusion. Somebody could get a clear day picture of Bigfoot, and none of us are going to believe it. I mean, seriously. The clearer it is, the less likely we're going to believe it. The blurrier it is, we're still not going to believe it. Then we're like, it's too blurry. I don't know. Land of illusion. Nobody knows what's real anymore. Bigfoot, you're safe. You can come out and flash everybody. Little Chaka too.
Little Chaka.
Land of the Lost. All right, let's move on. All right, more Bigfoot news here. Now, this is what I wish I would have told my sons about. I'm going to have to show them about this. I forgot about this one. I'm not going to have the audio playing for this one because it's going to have music here. I have the video of this from Tim Binnell, again, from Coast to Coast. A new video game is out, or going to be out. It puts player in the proverbial shoes of Sasquatch by challenging him to live as the elusive cryptid. The clever simulator titled Bigfoot Life is the brainchild of Planet 47 Games, which announced the project on Wednesday by way of trailer that I'm going to show here in a second. Set to release next year, the game plants the player's virtual Sasquatch in a sizable forest where they must forage for food such as berries or mushrooms, or if they are feeling particularly hungry, pluck fish from the river. Beyond finding the things to eat, the fox Sasquatch must also figure out how to survive when the winter comes, and of course contend with the cryptid's greatest threat, humans. To that end, players can acquire points by snatching items from unsuspecting campers. However, they must also avoid... Yes?
You never put your picture up.
Oh, thank you. I thought I clicked... Oh, it's a video. That's why.
Oh.
If I put the video up, it's going to start playing. Beyond finding things to eat, the fox Sasquatch must also figure out how to survive the winter, blah, blah, blah. You're going to see, he's going to be like, you got to be like a Bigfoot klepto. It has music and stuff. I'm not going to play it with it, but my kids would be so into this game. Like, they actually have played some games where you're, like, hunting Bigfoot and stuff. That's not so nice, right?
Ooh.
They would actually really be into this where they're, like, getting to be Bigfoot. It's just... Does Bigfoot have to have male pattern baldness? Let's just say it. Look, poor Bigfoot has male pattern baldness. Is there an achievement in the game to like grow his hair back? Some kind of salve he can put on his head, ancient medicine for cures male pattern baldness.
Wait, is this like a Kickstarter game or an actual game? It's
a game being sold by Planet 47 Studios. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like here's Bigfoot being a klepto. You get to be klepto Bigfoot. Run, Bigfoot, like, Bigfoot, run! Oh no, he got photographed.
Basket.
Yeah, see, he got you lose the game if you get photographed by the person.
I think it's like Sims for people who are like really into Bigfoot and I think
kids, my kids would love it. Yeah. They would love it. They love Bigfoot.
I think adults that like Bigfoot would like to play with it.
Yeah.
Like a Bigfoot Sims, especially once it gets a little more smooth.
Give him the infrared sound power. So you can go doom to everyone. All right, let's move on to the last one.
Glowing eyes.
Doom ability. Of course, I have to talk about this last thing. Like I said,
yeah.
When this all went down Friday, I worked retail. I totally blue screened one of my registers at work, and then I was praying all day, waiting to come home. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I don't have anything CloudStrike would be downloaded on my computer, but I still worry because I'm a worrywart. And the first thing I did, I came home to check. I mean, I would have figured out how to fix it, but it's still scary. But what's scary is something you can ask my wife. I've talked about it on this show. I know I have, is that I've always said if they wanted to take down the infrastructure of this country, the open doorway to that is Microsoft. Because everyone uses it on a PC for all these different affairs. Interestingly to know, you heard all the 9/11 centers that went down. Oh, guess what? And then you got people like Jamie Dimon and them that are
Jason,
BlackRock. Yes.
Do you know where the 911 centers are being run through now?
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole deal happened to be that they were already trying to push a deal through to move these data centers and all that to Israel. Oh, guess what? That helped. That's just one thing. That's just one thing of many to do with this. CrowdStrike, did that not sound familiar to people? CrowdStrike that investigated, and I'm not getting political. I hate them both. The Democratic hack, the DNC hack back in 2016, and then they tried to tell us it was a Russian hack, and then later we found out that was total bullcrap. That's them. Yeah, WEF member, and yeah. But it should raise big warning signals to people that our infrastructure could be that easily taken down. That was just a test, people.
But they're already embedded in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was just a test.
Mm-hmm. These have all been tests.
Just wait, people. And it doesn't matter what side you are politically. I'm telling you, these nefarious actors, these cybersecurity companies, these intelligence. Look up Antarean too, for the other side of the argument. This one is totally connected to the Democratic Party. Well, look up Antarean, totally CIA front connected to the Republican Party, and how much they're collecting data on their own voters. There's so many bad actors controlling so many people. Everything you're seeing right now is such a show. This is such a show. Today, I'm not going to get into politics. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's such a show. Don't waste your time hating on your friends or family because they disagree with you politically. Please don't.
Yeah.
Just love your family, love your friends. You can disagree. Let it go because you're wasting your time arguing about a bunch of corrupt turds.
Yeah.
And be ready. Prepare.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say. Things are afoot.
I also say before a world war, one of the first things they would do is hit your infrastructure, turning off the water, turning off the electricity, and things like that. But they said they were embedded a while ago and were going to create havoc and make it uncomfortable for Americans. And that's when like hospitals started going out and little things started going out, like the test runs started. But they're in there.
Listen to BlackRock Larry Fink. He said that we have to force Americans. We have to make them.
He said that we have to force the change,
Guess who's considering him for Secretary of Treasury? Not the guy that just dropped out, and not the one that's taking his place. The other side. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm just saying it's both sides. There's so many bad actors. They look for. They will fund both sides. They don't care. All they care is that they're next to the person in power. They own both sides.
They didn't care what they were losing because they were still making money on betting on themselves. Like,
yep,
they own it all.
Yep. I mean, when you're going to play the game, you're going to play craps. You're going to hedge your bets.
BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
Yeah, put Chase Morgan in there, all those other ones. But that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight's guest is Toni Ghazi, the Antarean Heart, channeling the Praying Mantis Collective from the heart. We will take calls later in the show if you want to have Tony do a little bit of channeling for you, and you could ask him a question to what I don't know who he's going to channel. If it's going to be the Praying Mantis Collective, he's able to reach out and channel a lot of different things. We're going to get into that and his experiences tonight after this short commercial break. And then I hit the wrong button. Man, I am off my game. But we are going to commercial break. We'll be right back.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Certificate A. Now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The international chart-topping, Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest. The true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Toni Ghazi. Tony is also known as the Antarean Heart. He's also a channel and spiritual guide. Tony works through the praying mantis beings and the Antarean Stargate to bring messages of unconditional love and integration from interdimensional and extraterrestrial beings. His work aims to guide humanity back to its true essence by activating a remembrance of who we are and creating a life of alignment. Through his connection with these beings, Tony helps individuals restructure their belief systems from limitation to limitless expansion, ultimately leading to a life filled with passion, excitement, love, and magic. Tony channeling includes messages from a diverse array of beings, such as the praying mantis, the Antarean Council of Light, this is another one I'm not familiar with, Tagidans, I don't know, well, Tagidans, we'll get to that. Great aliens, angels, Ganesh, Mother Gaia, the Seven Sisters of Pleiades, magic leprechauns. I'm Irish, I'd like to hear about that one. Dreamweavers, sacred geometry and angels, collective light particles, his future self, named Osman, as well as concepts like silence and void. Sound, infinity, shadow, and the dark, these messages are aimed to uplift humanity and assist individuals in living a life of alignment and joy. Tonight's guest, Tony Ghazi, we will have him on here, and later in the show, we will open up the phone lines for you to call in and ask questions of our guests who will be doing some channeling tonight as well. We got a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and get to our guest. Let's get him here in the studio. How you doing tonight, Tony?
Hey, good, Jason. Thank you for having me here.
It's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on so late. I know you're over on the East Coast, so it's a late time for you, but I'm glad to have you on tonight. So it's your first time on the show. I gave, of course, your bio, but I'd love to know where this journey really began for you, how these experiences shaped you, became the person you are now, where you're becoming a channeler.
Yes. So I'm Lebanese by heritage. I was born in Lebanon, and I moved to the U.S. when I was 15 with my family to Washington, D.C. This is where I live now. And I grew up in a Christian household, Greek Orthodox. So all of my life, I had Jesus and Mother Mary and saints and all these icons in like the Christian religion, until I would say I hit college in my early 20s, mid 20s, where, I took a religious class and it kind of like opened my mind up about like religions, more than just like Christianity. And then I stayed within the Christian sect or the Christian, upbringing. I would pray every day, every night, et cetera, until I was in my late 30s. So I'm 44 years old, and I actually awoke when I was 40 years old. And exactly when COVID hit, when my awakening happened.
There's a lot of that. I've had a number of guests over this last year or so. They're kind of new in a sense. Like, I've been into this since I could say I was 5 years old and saw a green floating head. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people, that isolation, that inner reflection, like there's just some of the, maybe, seeing the bright side of things, maybe like, what good came from it, maybe,
Yeah. And if I look back, I mean, there's always traces, there's always like breadcrumbs all along my life where I can see that I've been awakening, but trickle by trickle by trickle, like literally trickle. But like when COVID hit, it was an absolute acceleration of like light speed proportions. Like the first, I'd say like a year and a half, I kind of really began like redefining what my whole life is, what life is about. And I started following all kinds of channels from all over the world. And I became obsessed with that information. And then everything stopped and I had to rely on me and like the messages that I get. And I would say in the past, like since last July, I've been doing this kind of professionally. And it began, so I began kind of channeling, like practicing channeling as of last, like what are we now, 2024? As of the beginning of 2023. And I channeled with my friends, like we would meet every Tuesday from 8 it was p.m. to like midnight, like for about 5 months. And we would just play. It was completely for fun. And a lot of my early on channelings were when like we were playing, but that really gave me the confidence of like when I was experiencing. So I stutter, and I've always stuttered since I was a child, really, really bad. And like when I channel, it all goes away. And that was my proof to me that, oh my God, I'm completely switching like frequencies, because I've always felt like a prisoner of my speech, like a prisoner.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I mean, all my life it was traumatic. but like when I channel, it goes away, and it's like the most freeing thing ever. And there's a lot more details that we can go through, but
Well,
this is
yeah, I'm really interested on this journey because I mean it's recent for you, you know. Like I've guests on, I've been doing this stuff for years, you know, and I'm really interested in kind of like the COVID generation of New Age, you know, like the people that
yeah,
really had these awakenings during this time because
yeah,
it was a time for inner reflection. But you know, you said I have was friends with people that were Greek Orthodox, and
yeah,
you said you grew up in that tradition and that background.
yes.
Um, what was it that really I mean, besides in reflection, what was an experience that made you go, there's something more? Not a lack of, no, like not believing in your faith, maybe, but just making you question, making you lead to think that channeling was even an ability or real.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had no idea what channeling was. I didn't know what that word meant. I didn't know any of these words in like spirituality or like even the word consciousness, like which I've heard, I couldn't understand what that meant. Like what is consciousness? But I would say, like with me, I've had a few experiences like along the years, but I never saw them beyond the Christianity. Like really, I was so entrenched into like Christian, like belief systems, and it's Jesus and Mother Mary and all these things for a long time that I never saw anything like beyond that until I awoke and I could really reflect back um, and then like tell myself that, oh my God, all along these years, because when we were children, like back in Lebanon, I saw like two witches above our school, and I had four other friends like with me, where we saw like these two witches fly in the
Oh,
air. It's something that I totally forgot about until I awoke. Like
oh,
it's so crazy. Like yeah,
I have a kid that works for me. He's originally
yeah,
born in Lebanon. He's
yeah,
young though. He's like not even 18 yet. And I'm
sure,
like, please, we need. I haven't. He's going to be leaving soon. I'm like, I want to talk. Anybody that grows up
yeah,
in a different part of the world that we don't get a lot of cultural access to. I am really curious about these kind of experiences because
yeah,
we get all the TV shows about people here in America
yeah.
and a lot of those experiences, or in England and stuff, because that's where the media network for us is centered around. But I want to know what it is that somebody, because my first experience was seeing a green floating head with my cousin when I was like 5 years old. Okay,
Wow.
these kind of experiences that people keep to themselves, don't talk about, and maybe they tell a show later. But you don't get that from people in Lebanon or Syria or Afghanistan. I want to know. I want to hear this story. I'm sorry. I know you have a lot to get to, but I really want to hear this.
No worries, no worries, no worries. And so like let's begin when I was probably like 6 years old. Like we were at home in Lebanon, and I was walking down the hallway, and I see this little boy like peek out of like the door, like it was a head peeking, and I ran to my parents like, oh my God, there's a boy in our home, and like my parents were
Yeah.
like, no, 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 like you might have, I'm like you watch too many horror movies or like whatever the case may be. They kind of just like brushed it off, but I know then I mean I can still see him in the back of my mind right now, him like peeking. So that was my first like experience,
Oh wow.
and yeah. And then in school, maybe I was like 10 years old, is where like we saw these witches fly over our school. It was like four or five of my friends that we all saw it like two or three times over, I don't know, like a period of 2 or 3 months. And I mean, and if I close my eyes right now, I can still see them like above the like the tree line. But not everybody was able to see them, right? Because like the school had a lot of kids, and like we went to an all boys private school.
Yeah.
So only like four or five. So it just depends on the frequency of who you are, that I understand now that you're able
Oh,
to
I
see
get that experience. What
the
did they
beyond.
look? Can I ask really quick? Sorry, 1 second, Jamie, and I'm gonna let Jamie ask real quick. What did they look like when you say you see flying witches? What did they look like?
I mean, look, it was very typical. I'm like they had a broom,
Really?
and then yes, and they almost had like a black outfit on with um with like a cone shaped thing, and I could almost hear them go hee hee, hee, like
Yeah.
however God witches scream
The
as they're flying.
cackling, yeah.
Yes, and I could hear it right now, and it was so surreal. I mean, look,
Yeah.
four of my other friends saw it. Like, if I was hallucinating, that's one thing, but the fact like four other friends also saw it is like, you know what I mean? Like, what are the
Yeah.
odds? Uh, but of course, we had fear too, right? Because like as a child, you hear of witches, they like take children away, blah blah blah. So there was a lot of fear also involved in what we witnessed, and I don't think I shared it with anybody until like now or last year whenever I started talking about it. And I also forgot about that. I mean, like this is like the
Right.
funny
No, I
part.
get
Like, how
that.
can you forget about something like so
Well,
traumatic?
your
I get
brain
that.
probably just shut it off and put it away.
Exactly.
Well, or you think it was a dream? Like my cousin, I saw a dream floating ahead with my cousin. Now we were only 5, but
Yeah.
it was instilled in my brain. I did not forget it was. I knew it would happen. But he later on, when I finally asked him about it, you remember the green floating ahead? He went white. He thought it was a dream for a long time.
Yeah.
So we compartmentalize and like that wasn't real, or you don't think about it. I had a lot of that experience where you compartmentalize it, you put it away, you don't think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was actual brooms that they were. That's what I was wondering. It was brooms they were flying around on.
It was. It was.
I have
mean,
a
it was-
theory on that when you say that too, because you said you guys were afraid and fear, and only several of you guys could see it while other people couldn't. I have a theory that there are things that could exist that are like the bogey in Harry Potter that can manifest to your fear.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And yeah, and I mean, look, we could have seen what we could have seen, like based on the frequency and all of the filters like that we had, right? So it just could have been like another being just looking like
Right.
a witch, right? Because right, because our minds are only able to comprehend what we know is like real. I mean, look, it could have been like a gray alien for all we know, but it
The
was
screen memory is kind of the point. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but nobody like would believe you, like, of course. And then all throughout my life, like back in Lebanon, because we left when I was 15. I think those are the only 2 ones that I remember. We also lived through the war, right? There was a lot of war, like bombs and
Yeah, that's right. You're 44. I'm 45. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So I was born 1980. You're
79.
1979. Yeah. So so like there is also that aspect, right, of like high adrenaline, of like whether like you're gonna be alive, and then boom, 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 like all like, all of the war aspects. But then we moved to the U.S. and the other like weird part when we came to the U.S. We didn't speak any English. We only spoke French and Arabic. And like I came from a very modest family, so
Only spoke French and Arabic. I only speak English. I think it's great when people are able to speak multiple languages.
I love languages. I mean, like I can learn languages like this, like so fast.
Oh, so jealous.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. But like when we moved here, I had no money. Like my parents had no money. But at 16 years old, I really began getting the SETI magazine, which is which is like Search for Extraterrestrial.
Yes.
I didn't sign up for it. We didn't have any money, but it would come to my house. So how crazy!
It was probably the previous owner it was into this stuff.
No, it was a new apartment, so nobody like was
Was?
there. Yeah, and
How'd
it
you
came
get
under
it?
my name, which is so freaking like
What?
I swear to God. I swear to God. I mean, I had no money. Like my parents were poor, and like we didn't know how to order things. We had just moved to the U.S. Everything was brand new to us, and all of a sudden, like this magazine like began appearing. Crazy.
That's weird.
And
That is
right.
weird.
And like that's something I totally forgot about. Like sorry, I'm studying right now. Until I awoke, and all these memories like started flooding in of just like insane breadcrumbs. I mean, they're like massive breadcrumbs, but
Yeah.
you just didn't put the pieces together. And then I saw a picture. I think it was the X Files, like when it came out back in 19 whatever. I was obsessed with
90s.
it, and I had
Me
a
too.
picture of an alien, like on top of my head that I totally forgot I even had. It's just crazy stuff like that. I'm like, they were in my face. I cut it up. I like put it there, but totally forgot, like completely forgot. Just crazy stuff like that.
See,
And then
the journey for you is still early. And I bet
yeah,
there's still memories you have not accessed yet.
I know. This is funny. Like, I'm like that you say that because I always tell my friends that I don't remember my childhood. There's a lot of memories, like when I was a kid before, I'd say 12 years old. I absolutely don't remember. I have zero memory of it. Just so crazy. Like, how can I have zero memory of it? So maybe it was erased. Maybe it's not time for me, like, to remember.
Or you compartmentalized it.
Maybe.
It's your own natural reaction of the brain to too much input.
To protect
stimuli.
itself.
To
Yeah.
protect itself. That's the concept.
And like now, as we're speaking, I feel like I may have been abducted too, which is so crazy. I never thought of that before. Like,
The first sign of it to me is when you said you saw witches. And I'm not saying we know if you're abducted or not, I'm not saying witches don't exist, but we all know the idea of witches flying on brooms is
Yeah,
probably not a
brooms
real
is
thing.
yeah.
But this is the kind of common thing alien abductees have had from childhood experiences: seeing a clown in their room, or seeing a teddy bear come alive, or seeing certain animals talk to them through a window. And these are all screen memories, in a
Or
sense.
your worst fears.
Exactly. Well, I actually never thought of it that way. So this is kind of crazy because listen, when I got activated, like when COVID happened, I got activated. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I go from like 0 to a million of consciousness. All of a sudden, I understand all these concepts. All of a sudden, I have all these documentaries like that would show up on TV that are purely about all this stuff. And I don't search for it. I don't look for it.
It's the universe sending it to you.
I mean, they sent you a magazine subscription to SETI with your name on it.
Like crazy. And like back then, when you order these things, like you have to go on the back of the page and like send the
Yeah,
check.
it wasn't like a click on the internet now,
No, it was and we didn't have checks. We didn't have money. I know I didn't order it. I didn't speak any English, so no way on earth I could order that. And and like my parents didn't speak any English either, so no way on earth that they ordered it. But it kept coming, and like how insane is that? Yeah, so it's yeah, I mean, it's just my life has been so magical because I really stepped into this new role of like who I am with no apology, with no care. I don't care if people make fun of me and it's not even in my vibration like to make fun of. It's just been I've literally exploded into the world of channeling. I have so many events. I'm traveling every single month to the point in August I have 3 trips. All doing live channeling and and I started creating a praying mantis crystal skulls. I'm the first one in the world that had.
Hold that up one more second. Don't put it down yet. Hold on one
No
second.
problem.
I'll get that up there so people can see it. What's that made out of?
It is awesome.
I know. This is Jasper.
You
Only
sell
one
them?
in. I'm sorry.
Do you sell those?
Yes, I do. And like this is that's a medium one. So you've heard of the crystal, like the crystal skull phenomena, right?
Yeah.
Like the human.
Oh
crystal-
yeah, I got 2 crystal skulls here,
I collect too.
and I got to see the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull.
Yes, and I had a session with him about a month ago because my friend is a good friend of theirs, and it was amazing session. So I'm the only one in the world that makes these. Why? Because
Oh wow.
I know, because I have 8 of the other skulls, like the human skulls, and I just go online one day. I'm like, okay,
What is that one right there made of?
this one is glass actually,
Okay.
and I have like a green like glass too. These are from Indonesia, and now I began
That's
making. I know, and now I began making, like the ones on a necklace, a really tiny, small praying mantis.
Oh, those are incredible. We're gonna
Yeah.
have a website.
Yes, I do, but I don't have these on the site yet. But
Okay.
I'm gonna upload them soon. So, I know.
I
I mean,
would love
small.
to add those to my collection.
Yeah, the guy lived near Michigan City that has the crystal Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. My son actually went to that guy's son's karate school
Yeah.
that he used to own too.
Yes.
Or I think he still owns it, but whatever. But that I love crystal skulls. I've always been
And I
fascinated with
love
them.
praying mantises. I've got a special connection with praying mantises.
Thank you.
I'm a little freaked out by praying mantises. I will be honest.
I have a friend that's also freaked out. But listen, I also own this amber that has a praying mantis, like that's been carbon dated to be 20 million years old.
Oh
I'm gonna
no
throw-
way!
I know. You see the praying mantis in there?
I do.
Oh
I
yeah,
see
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. Wow.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
So that came into my vibration in a very like weird way. I had no idea like what amber was. I thought it was a stone, but then I find out that it's actual like tree sap that's been petrified over like millions of years. And I came across it in a very weird in a very weird way, and I won it on auction, like a real auction.
They
Like
find their ways to you.
exactly. I know. I mean, crazy stuff. I mean, look, I wouldn't be making skulls if I didn't believe that I connect to the Mantis, right? I mean, why would I even?
Okay.
And
Well,
go
let's
ahead.
get in. I want to get in. So
Sure.
you started these channeling sessions with your friends.
Yes.
And we do like a psychic game night, stuff like that. I always think the best way to get involved is to relax and have fun. And so I think that was a great way for you to start. How did this tell us about this first channeling experience? What really like made you a believer that you're channeling something beyond yourself?
Yeah. So look, when you first begin channeling, it's a real struggle, like to put your ego aside and believe that like what's coming through is actually real, right? Because initially you'll feel like a fraud, like you feel like you're making stuff up. You just don't trust yourself.
Right.
But with me, like stuttering was really my key, right? Because I always have stuttered. I always do stutter. But like when I channel, all of a sudden, and like you'll see, like when I channel, it's just pure flow. Like there's no and like there's no like. Uh, so I use the word and then like to kind of help me transition. Because if I don't, I just go like the word doesn't
I
come out.
totally understand. And I do that all. I don't have a stutter problem, but you heard me flub at the beginning of the show. So many words I am mispronouncing to you. So
Sure.
don't feel bad. I'll make you sound beautiful.
Thank you. But I mean, it's yeah. So then when that began happening, I just like you just know. But also I'm like when I come out of the channeling state, I feel a very stark contrast. I'm like, wow, I am back right now. It's almost like I am aware of what's happening here, but I'm not aware. And also like the messages that they bring through. So look, I don't read books. I've never read. I probably read one book like in my life. I'm just not like a reader like type. I tried. I admire my friends. I have friends that read a book over the weekend, finish the whole thing. I just cannot. I'm like super auditory, and then visual. So I don't have like a bank of information of like books that I've read of like fantasy type stuff, but the stuff that comes through these like images like that I get in the explanation of like realities, no way on earth that they came from my mind. No way,
Right.
because I know I don't read that stuff to even have that concept to be within my.
So that's why I wouldn't trust myself if I channeled, and even
You
my
know what you're
dreams.
supposed to.
Even like stuff that I've questioned, are they really dreams or was I abducted? It was always been hard for me because of all the back knowledge in my head, because I do read a lot. I'm a huge sci-fi fan and fantasy fan. I have all this stuff compiled here, so I wouldn't trust it at all for myself.
Yeah, but listen, like what they told me is because I had a week where I was channeling and like they kept talking about imagination, and like we think imagination that we're imagining and like making something up, right? That's not there.
Right.
They said you're unable to imagine anything that isn't already like there, and when you are imagining things and like kind of creating this new world or like connecting with this new information, what's really happening is that you are connecting with those beings or like with those consciousnesses, and they're giving you the clues of how the world looks like, and then vice versa, you're giving them also clues how like your world looks like. So when like we actually like do imagine, you are making contact, and it's not something you're just fabricating, because you cannot fabricate like non-existence, so even if you have like so much information in the way that you explain it, like when you channel, is an expanded way that still is not within like your bank of information, if that makes sense. Like try trusting yourself more, and like don't get in a sense flustered that I have so much knowledge that I'm maybe using like your own vocabulary in order to create something, because you wouldn't be able to create something that isn't already there, and like in a sense communicating with you on the other side or like from the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get that though. For somebody like you, you weren't into this world until COVID. That you don't have a bank of information. I mean, it reminds me of Edgar Casey, the Sleeping Prophet. He'd go into that trance, and he was a Christian, Kentucky Christian. This was and he got into all Atlantis and reincarnation and all these things that were beyond his belief system.
Yeah, totally. And like with me, like when it comes to the praying mantises, like there isn't information out there. There are no books about them. There's very in like maybe like 0.01% of like of information about them. So I needed to rely and really trust everything that they're sending me from their perspective, and they're they're super expanded. The way that they explain things is just it's like so complex sometimes that that like your mind is really pushing the boundary of what like the beyond is, right? Because oftentimes like the words that we use are already limited, so how can you really describe something that's super infinite in our limited way of really explaining it, right? Because like when your consciousness, like you're not understanding the word with like the world with words, you're really like explaining it or like experiencing it from an experiential essence of energy which transcends words, transcends vision, transcends like thought. So how do you kind of like come back and describe that in our
Right.
world? So a lot of it like there's energies that like this being exchanged, like when they channel that they're always embedding all these codes like within your light body to help you in a sense understand what they're trying to say beyond the words, more on energy and like consciousness level.
I mean, I swear to God, I've had experiences that I wrote off as dreams, but when I wake from them, I feel like I had all this knowledge in this experience that my brain can't now comprehend once I'm in this conscious state.
Exactly.
It's like that kind of feeling, like you can't translate, your brain can't translate the
Yeah.
4D information into the 3D.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So all that stuff just made me believe that I am channeling, but also like there's a knowingness, right? Because I had my first past life regression. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah. And then like a praying mantis head came through. That was the first image, like a clear head of a praying mantis, and I knew this was a praying mantis. And then the next image that they showed me is this long-bodied silhouette of like pure light that's about 20 feet high, and I could feel and I had this knowingness that look, although like they're praying mantises, like they're really energetic beings, and they had to come in the silhouette of a human in order for my mind to understand who they kind of are, because if they really come in the way that they are, no way on earth our mind would be able to put like it together, right? So they had to have some sort of archetype of a look for my mind to be able like to get it. And then the next image like that they showed me is this heart, like that was infinite. So I could see like the layers of like the heart that kept going, all faceted, beautiful, like clear facets, and then this small like spark of light in the middle of this infinite of of this infinite like vastness, a small spark of light that they said this is the pure energy that you are. You don't need like so much energy because this small like spark is so huge, powerful that like this is all you need. And like through that light reflection, like of that light, like for the one facet to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, it kept like multiplying and it created like a Merkaba of light. And once these three like images like came through, I just had this pure knowingness that I was a praying mantis, that I lived as a praying mantis, and there's nothing that could shake me in off of that reality. And I have chills all over my body right now. I mean, it was the most beautiful kind of past life regression of like pure knowingness that was just completely mind-boggling. And like that was the first time where I knew like like that I connected with them. And then let me show you like a few pictures, and then all of a sudden like they started appearing all over the place. So hold on, let me show you this picture. So I'm a realtor, right? So I sell houses, and I was showing
I love houses. I always, if other job if I always wanted to get into is be real estate, just to see houses. I love houses.
Like you'll be good at it because you have a good personality.
It's like me and my wife joke about the Zillow porn. Like we're sitting there, like, "Oh, did you see this house? Oh yeah, look at this house."
I did the same.
Sorry,
thing.
go ahead.
No, that's okay. I did the same thing. So look on the lockbox. You see the praying mantis?
Oh yeah.
This is the lockbox that like we get the keys from, right? So, like there's a card that goes there, like for realtors. And I've been in Washington D.C. since 1995. I've never seen one praying mantis ever. All of a sudden, like, all these things appear, right? And then I'm showing a house, and look, a praying mantis on the glass.
That is so cool.
And I was showing this, right? So this is the house that we were visiting. with my clients. So crazy stuff. And then let me show you this crazy one where this praying mantis like showed up as a light reflection on a
Oh my
lamp.
God, that's almost creepy.
That's a lamp, and it's a light reflection. You see that?
Yeah.
They want you
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
it. They
Totally.
want you to see it.
Totally. And like I was at this client's house, like we're trying to sell her place. I'm like, oh my God, look, there's a praying mantis. And like she kept looking behind the lamp on the trees, like thinking it's an actual praying mantis. Like, no, 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 the light reflection, the light reflection. So crazy stuff like that where they would appear. And I get these magical like being, like look at this magical being that like just showed up.
Well, like a light bar.
Yes.
Oh wow, and the text, that's very interesting.
I know it's like a DNA sequence. This just happened.
Well,
in
that's
Connecticut.
called rod phenomenon. is
Okay.
what
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
skeptics will say it's bugs and the shutter speed. Other people believe it's an actual dimensional entity that can only be filmed.
I don't think it's the shutter speed thing because
Yeah, I
of the
know.
tests I've done.
Okay, and then let me show you this. So like when I awaken, all this crazy stuff start happening. So you're gonna see like this light being, and this is not a shutter speed because, and I'm gonna put this thing on. Look, hold on. Look,
What is it? The light in the background?
look, it's coming, it's coming. Look,
Oh, is this video?
yeah. You see that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
you're,
I
I
get-
can hear you. I can hear you in the background.
Totally freaking out,
talking.
man.
Yeah. But you see nothing with your eyes, just through the camera, right?
Exactly.
But there's no bug, no nothing there.
No. And
Right.
I mean, I see orbs, and I have like
Right.
hundreds of orbs that come. I mean, they're orbs, right? It's not like, look, we don't have bugs at home, inside, because this was like inside the house.
Like they
Um,
have their own light source.
So-
Do they have their own light source?
I think so because they only show up when I have, like the flash on the camera, which happens synchronistically all by accident. But I get called like to take these videos, right? So it's not like I'm sitting here for 12 hours trying to capture them. I just get called and I know.
Yeah,
Um,
you get it.
right.
You feel compelled to do it.
Exactly. And then I have UFOs. Let me show you like the first UFO.
Oh yeah.
That's a light ship. So this was during the cicadas, like when we had them here.
Do you happen? Are you on a computer right now?
I am on a computer.
Do you happen to have your these files on your computer?
Let me.
Because you can share your screen on here if you want to show them.
Yeah, the thing is this, when I'm on my computer, I cannot zoom in as it's playing, but on the iPhone, I can zoom in
Okay,
and it just
okay.
gives you like a better look.
Just wanted to make sure you have that as an option if you wanted to.
Thank you. So look, this is, so I see, hold on, you guys see.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You see
see
that?
it.
Oh yeah.
But hold on, I'm gonna zoom in for a second.
It's like dropping.
It's above the clouds.
Yeah, it's actually below the cloud.
Is it? Oh, it looked like it was,
Yeah,
it's hard to
look.
tell. Oh, okay.
And this came 3 times after I awoke, on 3 different times.
Huh.
And this was confirmed, like through another channel, that it's the praying mantis.
And
So-
is that another time when you had like a feeling?
Yeah,
They were there?
exactly. This was my first, like my real first UFO one. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just insane. And then, and I have night orbs, and I mean, I have UFOs where, so look in here. So you see like the light, sorry, 1 second. So you see the light show, or like the light one there, and
Yeah, I see a
look at
dark
the
one.
UFO on the right, or
Yeah.
or on your left. And like here's where it's moving.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's much clearer on the phone. And here, like you see one at the bottom, like right, like where I circle,
Yeah.
and then I kind of like pause it and look how it's moving super fast. Right, so I had to pause the video.
Are
Yeah,
they
yeah.
drones? Are they like drones going in and out of the clouds, the dark ones?
No, I mean, I have no idea.
It'd
but
have to be
they're-
pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fast. And like the irony of it is that I have no idea that they were there, but I get called to go back to the videos like that I took, and this happens like a year later, and then
Uh-huh.
I pause it and I start kind of moving it slow, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's always been there, but I had no
When you
clue. Like
start scrubbing it, yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um, I mean, I have so many of them. Like this is another one. This is at night. So I have a friend that does that has a machine um, like that studies EMF around. So this is like a ship like that I took, and
Looks like that's like infrared they put it in, or
yeah, or like EMF. So it has EMF
oh,
around it, the yellow
oh,
or
okay.
greenish
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
color. Yeah, and that's a beautiful orb like that I took at night. Here, hold on, let me show you. So my friend made.
Oh, that's the same orb. That was his analysis of it. You can
Yeah,
see that there
exactly,
was electromagnetic.
exactly. And like
Watch the
my
music play in the background.
yeah, so my friend, I know my friend did it. It was perfect. But look, when he zooms in,
Wow.
Well, how did it get so bright like that? It just did that, or you zoomed in?
That was a zoom
we
in.
zoomed in. We zoomed in.
And again, it just like drops.
Honestly, honestly, Tony, I think you have a lot more memories to uncover from your childhood.
Yeah.
I know, and like listen, because I've always like the weird part about it. I've always said like that I don't remember like my childhood, but now with you guys, it's the first time that I'm thinking, oh, like maybe I don't remember because
Like
of
early childhood, I bet
Yeah.
like 3, 4, like as early as you can remember, this stuff is going to come out.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have zero memory of it, zero, which is crazy. But I never like tied it. I'm like to UFOs. I just tied it that I don't remember, or
I
because
mean,
I have friends.
you were in Lebanon too, and it wasn't the greatest of times, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I mean, like we lived
so
through the
that
war.
hmm I mean,
And
a child is going to compartmentalize stressful, traumatic things at times. I don't know what you went through as a kid, and those
Yeah.
could be part of it. But I'm just saying, there's things you've said already in the first few minutes of the show. It was like calling red flags to me. you probably have some abduction contactee experiences early on.
Yes, and
That,
then like the weird part about it is like the praying mantises. I thought that I never had a connection with them, and like that's another memory that's insane, like that I could forget. It's like my grandmother lived in the country, and like we would always go there like for the summer, and she had praying mantises all over her garden, and like we would talk about them as um, as as like being like bringers of good luck. So for years and years and years, as I was a child, like we would talk about them, completely forgot like until I awoke. Like no wonder I had a connection like with the praying mantises. How can I forget my grandmother and the whole experience and like the praying mantises? Like, but I did for like 40 years. I had totally forgotten about it. Crazy
yeah,
stuff like that, like insane.
yeah.
Um,
So, what are the praying mantises? They're interdimensional, and we call them praying mantises. Antarean is what you're kind of like refer to themselves as. Is that what that word is?
There is a planet called Antares, which is in like the heart of the Scorpio, if you know like astrology. And like that's all I know because I don't follow astrology, but I
Me
learned
neither. My
that.
wife is great at it. I'm not.
Okay, all right. Like so she would know like where um where where Antares is. And I had a channel that uh, like that does yeah, I'm really stuttering a lot.
It's all right. It's late. I get it.
Thank you. That does Akashic readings, um, and like galactic, Akashic readings. And like she told me, like this is where I actually like, originate from, and I kind of embodied that energy. But like through that, it's like beyond the planet. It's really like a portal, and it's a stargate that like will connect other timelines into our timeline. And like they come from there and they kind of like travel through it. Like they don't live only there because their hands are intertwined into the fabric of the universe.
They're
And universe,
multidimensional.
the multidimensional, exactly, like the multiverses. And like a lot of the concepts like that like they speak about are so like vast really complex. It's really tough sometimes to bring it to reality where they're from. Um, but yeah,
Do they have
but
involvement? We brought up, like the past that you had this experience where you saw yourself as a praying mantis being in a past life, and we've talked about that a lot on the show
yeah.
about people having alien past lives. Not many people that have come on to talk about actually knowing or experiencing that. But what do you think? Are they in any way in control or assisting or a part of that afterlife and past life?
They are always assisting. I like would not use the word in control because
I didn't either. I stopped myself. I
no
didn't say
worries, no worries, no
assisting.
worries. But it's good for your audience, right, to hear this. Is that like they don't see like in control the way that we see it, right? Like they know that we're all interconnected and like we're all one, and that they have like a mission, like in a sense, really like to activate all kinds of beings. Like they work with so many beings from all across the universes. Um, and like they've been called the founders, right? But like not the founders, like in a sense, like they're gods or like they're the one who created, but like they're the architects, of things. They're always in the backgrounds, kind of like just watching, um, like the Greys, for example, and like other beings in their manipulation of things and like activation, and like they help activate them so we can get activated like through them, right? Um, like they use sound vibration, and then they use color frequencies, and then light vibration to create things, like to actually like create galaxies. And like the irony of it is, I'm also colorblind.
Really?
Like really? So I see my world like very differently than like my husband, for example. Like he
Right.
sees red and green and light blue, and I mean, so I do see them, but they're not what he sees. It's almost like I don't know like the name of that color, but I know that it's the color and it's a different shade than like whatever I guess is next to it. Which now makes me think, which I've never thought of this before, is that wow, I'm seeing other colors that perhaps the majority of humanity isn't
Yeah,
seeing
you might not
because
be colorblind. You might be seeing more than we are.
exactly. Thank you. And it's the first time that I think of it, and I've said this like a million times. You guys are activating me like with it. I mean, really, there's a lot of activation like that are happening. A lot of awakening. That's I'm like, what? Um, yeah. So like stuttering also, uh, like because I asked them like why, like did I choose this theme, and like they said that you're not meant to speak in this life, like you're meant to get energies, and like communicate like using energies and not speech.
Think
Which
about think about this. I mean, a lot of this is my curiosity peak. If you were they took you on a okay, so you had a past life regression. Was
yes,
that the first past life that popped up? Was the praying mantis?
immediately that was my first past life regression, and it was the first thing that came through, ever.
If that was your, I don't know if whatever came out of those regression sessions, but if that was your main life was being a praying mantis, and they suddenly throw you into a human existence, it would make sense for you to have maybe issues with speech, maybe issues with seeing the same perception of colors and reality that we see because you're coming from a whole different kind of experience to this reality.
Yes,
It would make a lot of sense.
I love the way that you put it. It's really beautiful, and you actually put it more eloquent than I did. Um, you
I
guys are
just
really activating. I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful. I just want to say that right now, just for for both of your presence, because I'm feeling activated. And today is a full moon. Like today was a funky day for
Yes.
me.
a
Like
very
yeah, uh, I felt exhausted all day. Like although I was working all day, and I don't feel exhausted normally. Like I can work 20 hours a day for the next year, and I'll
There's
have energy.
something over the energy
it's
for
the
a lot of
full
people
moon
right now.
hangover.
Okay, because I felt it today. I'm like, wow.
It's
I
really
mean, yeah, it's intense. So I'm thinking that, and then like your presence is really reshifting, like where I am. So I'm grateful. I
and
want
this
to.
is
Paranormal Soup, where
coinciding
the
with
paranormal
all
happens
of the
live.
with the astrological transients right now, and
She's your astrological person.
you'll probably be getting a lot more vivid dreams coming up soon.
Yeah,
And it helps. I don't know if you journal, but if you want to remember, it helps to
You should.
sometimes write it down when you wake up.
yeah.
But I wonder if with the color, seeing color different, you know how insects and animals and things see color
Right.
different.
Yes.
Right. I remember
Thank you
talking
for
about you
sharing
lived
that.
as a whole other species. I mean, I've had people, multiple now channelers, mediums on here tell me I'm Arcturian.
Yes.
I've had that, what, 3 times different people, Gus, say that?
Okay.
And one time I was meditating with my early 20s when I had my real, I mean, I think I've always had I've had stages of awakening. But my 20s, I really got more spiritual, got away from a lot of the darkness that I had experienced, and was meditating a lot. I remember meditating with a candlelight meditation with my cousin Phil, the same one that saw the green head. And I remember one time he freaked out because he saw me change, and he said, you looked like, kind of like the gray alien, but bluish. I didn't know anything about Arcturians or anything like that at the time. So it's weird later on, as I've had guests on more than once say that I'm Arcturian. I believe I always felt I was an alien, but I think I've reincarnated. That whatever I've been an alien, I've had other incarnations here since being an alien, because I have had very vivid, two really reincarnation dreams, visions, whatever you want to call them. They were dreams, but they were so real to me. I just know that those were past lives.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, like that you speak about vivid dreams, because like the moment I awoke, I began dreaming a lot and remember, like every night I dream, and I have become super excited to go to bed, right? Like, not that I guess wasn't excited before, but now I'm super like aware. Like when I go to bed, I'm gonna go to places. Like I'm super excited to just really, and I can fall asleep like super fast. It's been so exciting. It's like I almost lived 2 lives here and there. And like I don't remember all of it, but I know that I dreamt beautiful dreams. And of course there are some that I really like remember, but they became more vivid. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
And some they'll keep showing you over and over till you understand what it is they want you to see.
Exactly. And
I like to clean my bed in the morning with a spritz of like salt and some different essential oils and things. It's like starting the bed, cleaning the energy and
That's
everything
interesting,
out from
Jamie.
the night before. So when you lay down at night, everything's fresh and nothing left over from the night. Some sage in it, just a simple spray.
oh, I like that. Okay, I've never done that. So I use a lot of rose water. I love rose water, and I spray it all over me and and around the house.
It's good stuff too.
We're going to be coming up on a commercial break here in about 5 minutes,
Sure.
and then we're going to open up the phone lines, and you're going to try to do some channeling.
I would love to. Because I started
So-
yawning like a second ago, which like tells me that there's a lot of energy.
Getting there, or it's just late. Like you're not the first guest. You know what I mean? And even a friend of mine came on the show once and fell asleep live on the show. So don't worry. Don't do that.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking earlier, oh my God, it is late. What if I fall asleep? But no, I'm not.
I've fallen asleep, so don't feel bad.
My friend came on one time on this show. He's a firefighter, and he fell asleep snoring live on the show. So you won't be the first if you do it. But so for callers tonight to call in, what kind of questions would you, or what do you want what should they be asking, or what do you want rules or stipulations to what they call in and ask you?
There are no rules. They can ask whatever they want. I don't know the questions. It will come through. Whatever they want. We'll see. And if they don't want to ask a question, they could stay silent, and like they'll bring images to them, and like they'll bring information like for
Just
them.
whatever you see. But like, hey, can you just tell me what you see on me? That kind of deal. Because you'll get those. I get those kind of calls too. So, guys, we still got a few minutes before we're going to go to commercial break. But so no, it'll be. We try to keep the phone calls. I don't know how many we're going to get calling in tonight. But we try to keep them somewhat 5-10 minutes. Let's say. When we do that. So, all right, awesome. I might ask you for some stuff for channeling if that's all right. I don't know. I got to think of what I want to ask the Praying Mantis Collective,
Sure.
or anybody, because you channel not just them. And do so like when you go into this state, is it kind of free for all for whoever's going to come through, or do you kind of get to say, hey, I want to talk to them, or I want to talk to this?
Yeah, so I always let the energies guide me. And it depends on the recipient, right? So like when needs to come through, like for them. But I would say like mainly, like the menses like allow me, like the conduit, like to connect to other beings, right? And like sometimes we connect to concepts, right? Because everything's intelligence,
Right.
Not just beings, right? But consciousness
thought forms like topas in Tibet. I always wondered this for people that channel. And it's not like I'm trying to be skeptical of channeling. I'm not. I'm just more curious about the mechanisms of the universe, in a sense. Is that their consciousness? You say you didn't even know what that word was when you first getting into this, right?
I tried to make it tangible.
We still don't know what consciousness is. We really don't. I mean, it's a word, a description of something. Describe consciousness to me.
So the
right?
way
You know
that
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if there's an ultimate consciousness out there,
Yeah.
and we are a part of it, we're all one and shaping it. And anything and everything out there that possibly could exist in the multiverse.
Yeah.
When you're opening yourself up, you could literally be channeling thought forms or ideas and concepts and anything. Yeah, I get that.
Totally. You're super ascended, by the way, more than you give yourself credit for.
I don't know.
Do you know that?
I don't feel extended.
But you are. Because the way you speak, the way you're able to understand like the beyond from how you just spoke, the fact that you are able to comprehend like a thought formation as just being its own consciousness really tells me that you may not be aware how how ascended, I mean, this is like the easiest way to say it.
Yeah.
How truly ascended you are, but you're gonna accelerate even more.
Like I said, I always felt like I was an alien since I was a kid. Totally did.
Of course,
When you said, "Hey, God might," or when they said, a lot of the stuff in the Bible might be aliens. My mom had "Chariots of the God" by Eric von Daniken. I was totally into that concept. I was totally open to it. All those things. When you see a green floating head, like I did when I was a kid, anything's up to be acceptable as reality. I've had weird experiences. That's maybe I'm extended or not, but I've had a lot of special and some negative. When I was 17, I had a shadow person experience that really pushed me to the brink, scared me, and I'm not going to get into all that. That's a whole long experience we don't have time for. We got to go to commercial break, but this is what I love doing it with you, Tony, and meeting you tonight and getting to talk. We got to share these experiences. We're all tapping into something, and we're all on our different paths at different frames of our own awakenings. And I love tonight that I'm sharing yours. So it's an honor to be a part of that experience with you, as you're kind of new to this, but you're really going down the rabbit hole quick, my friend. You're ready to take the ride. You bought the ticket. You're there. But we got to go to commercial break with our guest tonight, Toni Gazi. We will be back and open up the phone lines. You can call in tonight, and Tony is going to channel. And remember, 5, maybe 10 minutes, whatever, call in. But wait to call in until after the commercial break. When we come back, the phone lines will be open. Like I said, after the short commercial break.
Into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files, So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is "42. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID jblandoo or jblandparanormalsoup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Toni Ghazi. We're going to open up the phone lines now, and Tony is going to channel. You can call in tonight, ask him a question, or just see what his channel picks up when you call in. Have an open mind. Join this conversation tonight with our guest, Toni Ghazi. I think we got a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and get back to our guest. Thank you for staying with us tonight, Toni. Again, it's an honor to have you on this show. First time we've had you on doing this, but I've had other people on to do readings and channeling. So how do you want this to work?
Yeah, so I'll go in the channeling state. It will take me about 30 seconds. And like they'll bring a message through, and then they say, you're welcome to ask a question. And then like your audience can ask, you can ask. And if you want to begin kind of asking a question and then say that I don't have a question and just be in silence, like to see what like they can pick up, that's fine. But I'll be out of it like completely. And, I mean, I can channel up to 2 hours. That's how I normally do it. So like you can stop me whenever, it's time, and like they'll bring me back through when it's there. But I'll be completely out while I'm in it. Aware, but not aware. Makes sense?
Gotcha.
Okay. You want me to begin?
How do we bring you out?
So, like, just say that we're finished, and like they'll get it, and like they'll kind of get me out of it.
Okay.
Okay.
And like whichever way that you want to say that we're finished, it doesn't have to be.
We don't have any callers yet, but you guys are welcome to call in. The phone lines are open.
Yeah.
Let me get the screen thing up too. Let me get that up there. Should have both phone lines. 219-230-4444, 265-225-9419. Skype IDs are oojblandoo or jblandparanormalsoup. Soup. Lines are open, guys. Call in. Tony is going to go into a trance, or you call it a trance or channel? How do you call it?
Trance.
Trance.
Yes. Okay. Good. Okay.
You're good.
Thank you. And from the Antarean Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness. As we merge our hearts with your hearts, as we become one within the sea of consciousness of all the energy and the intelligence of creation itself. And as we connect with you in this way, know that there are energetic codes that are being transferred through our frequencies that will be embedded within your energetic light bodies, and that will also be embedded within your biological, physical DNA structures to allow you to awaken more and more into the divine power that you are. And with this beautiful co-creation, we thank you for allowing us to come through in this way, as you have co-created us in this reality. You have, in a sense, invited us here to be one with you, to share messages together and to learn more about who creation is as a whole, as you are all facets of creation, as we are facets of the same creation. There is no separation. We are one. We are interlinked as one always. Separation is only an illusion of this three-dimensionality of the world that you call reality, that you are in. Illusion is simply a screen in a sense. It's a filter to allow you to experience yourself from a different dimensionality and aspect, to allow you to expand through that lens. And with that, we welcome you into our arms, as we are family, as we are one. You are welcome to pose questions, make statements, or sit in silence with us as we bring messages through that are relevant for your ascension.
I do have somebody that will probably have a question for you. Are you ready?
We are here. Go ahead.
Who do we have on the line?
Hi, Jason. My name's Marie.
Hey, Marie.
I'm from Oregon. And I'm not really sure what I should ask. I just feel like I should sit in silence and
Okay, that's
wait
fine.
and see what's given.
Repeat the name.
My name is Marie.
Thank you for speaking your truth. Thank you for knowing that within the silence, the answers lie. As we scan your energetic vibration and frequency, we are showing the channel images of beings that have visited you recently. Gray in nature, but the shape of the head is not the typical of the grays that you see on your television sets. The head is a little bit more slightly triangular, let's say, with a very thin neckline. Beings that are ascended in nature, connected with your lineage, let's say, and they have visited you in your dream space to remind you of the timeline where you are currently living with them. You are there, in a sense, as a shaman for their civilization. You have an interconnectedness with nature itself. You understand the energetics of nature. You understand the language of nature. But nature that exists on their planets, not the nature that exists on this Mother Gaia where you are. You have the ability to speak to plant life. You have the ability to connect and dialogue with cetaceans or water beings, amphibious in nature. You also have access to the wind, the idea of the intelligence consciousness of this moving breath of life for the planet that you're on.
Thank you.
Yes. A rectangular image is being shown. We will say will be pyramid in nature. Do you enjoy drawing characters or certain geometrical structures?
No, but my son does.
Follow his footsteps. And as he draws, in a sense, these characters or geometric shape, attempt to spend time with him and be in his energy and allow your hands to move the lines wherever they need to go. Because as you draw those characters, and do not think from the mind as how the character needs to be, close your eyes and allow your hands to be moved by energy that is within you. And through the movements of such characters, you'll be rewiring your neurons and within your brain, in a sense. You will be activating yourself by the allowance of the arm or the hand to move in specific geometric structures. Your son is already talented enough or awakened enough to be doing that without realizing what he is doing. Spend time with him as much as you can and be within his energy, as that will give you the boost of, let's say, courage, a boost of trust that what's occurring to you in that now moment is truly activating yourself from your higher self. Does that make sense?
Yes. And with that as a follow-up question, should I use my dominant hand or my non-dominant hand?
A question posed by a wise energy as you are. Play with both, but using the non-dominant hand will give you, in a sense, trust on the direction that the lines or the characters or the angles of creation then need to go. Because with the dominant hand, your mind may interfere a bit. So allow the non-dominant hand to be free in the formation of creation that it desires. And you will be surprised and awed at the creations that you will produce, manifest.
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
Yes. One more message for you. The idea of roses are popping up.
Roses.
Roses, red roses specifically.
My youngest daughter, her name is Amber Rose.
It is no coincidence that you have named your child with the name Rose, as that was a clue for you to connect with the idea of roses. Should you not have roses in your home on a weekly basis, keep a rose and water near you as you go to bed and watch the magic occur in your life.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for taking my call.
No problem. You have a great night.
All right. Bye.
All right. Next on the line, I believe we have, should be a Ziriana, I believe I have on hold here. Should take her off hold. You there, Ziriana?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm here.
Hey, no. I had you on hold. Thank you for staying on. You are on with Toni Ghazi, who is channeling.
Okay. I don't really have a question. Just see what comes out. If there's any messages, I don't know.
That's fine.
Repeat the name.
Zariana. Azariana.
As we tap into your energy, we have shown the channel an image of a city, of a large city that you, in a sense, presided over. A city that you miss, in a sense, but we are here to remind you that you are already connected with such a vibration and frequency. It is, in a sense, a higher technological space. It's a city that belongs on a ship and is on a ship, a city ship, let's say, of the year 3245. You are there as a technological being, and through your consciousness that runs through your body, you have the ability to, in a sense, touch the ship itself to rewire certain aspects of how it functions. You are able to communicate through your inner consciousness as a being, through your touch, that allows the ship to be steered in a specific way, allows the ship to be upgraded in a certain way. You have an advanced system within you and a specific relationship, a biological nature with the ship itself, as the ship, to begin with, is consciousness also in nature.
Okay. All right.
Do you enjoy having steps? For example, step 1, 2, 3 to get to step 4.
Yes.
Know that that desire to understand the differing steps to achieve a certain result or to achieve a certain destination comes directly from that lifetime where you are the technological officer, let's say, of such a ship. Because then you needed to know every aspect of the ship itself, how it functions, how it connects to you, how it connects to the universe itself as it travels within the fabric of reality. So every
Okay.
time you think of the idea of steps, every time you get into the mode of needing to know X, Y, and Z for a specific result, tap into the other essence of who you are on that chip, and you will be able to receive many advanced messages, let's say, from your other self.
Okay.
The idea of water is coming through, beach or a river. What is your connection with such frequency and vibration?
I like looking at water and sitting and meditating with water or looking at it, not actually in it, but looking at it.
Know that as you connect with the body of water, the idea of meditation or any other modalities of your choosing, know that in that moment, the water is able to connect with you and is able to see the lens of your life on how you live. So you may think from your physical mind that you are connecting with the idea of water. Know that the water in that moment is being able to transfer into your consciousness and see your life from your lens. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And should you feel called, should fear be there with the idea of submerging your body in water, listen to your heart and attempt to dip yourself into the water.
Okay.
Do you have hesitation to be in water?
Yes.
Do you know the reason why?
I died in a past life in water, and I drowned in this life when I was little.
We are tapping into the lifetime where you have transitioned. Interesting. How is the memory of such a past life of drowning made you feel in this lifetime? Essentially, have you blocked such an experience?
I remember bits and pieces of it. I know everything. I mean, I know the whole situation, but I remember bits and pieces of it so I can learn from it in this life.
Yes. And it is no coincidence that in this life you have re experienced the idea of drowning.
Yeah. Yeah.
as there is resistance to such a concept. Begin connecting with the
Okay.
idea of water from an expanded view, that you are the water to begin with, that the body of water that you see or the body of water that you sit next to and observe is essentially you. It's a different facet of who you are as a creation. Do not see it as separate than you are. The more that you see it as separate than you are, the more that you will experience the idea of trauma, let's say, because you are essentially separating yourself from your own self. And the fear of not being able
Okay.
to breathe underwater, for instance, is simply an illusion. Or the idea of not being able to swim or float on water is also an illusion. You are the water that you drowned in to begin with. You essentially merged back into your own consciousness through the idea of water. Dip your
Okay.
feet into the water as you meditate and allow the water consciousness to guide you on what you need to learn. The lessons, in a sense, or the expansions that you should have been aware of when those instances occurred in the past life and in this physical life. Begin speaking to the idea of water as an intelligent consciousness and as part of who you are, not separate from you. And so the idea of integration, of integrating that body of water, that intelligence, back into your heart as the ascended master that is when the key will be given to you for you to unlock the treasures and the answers that you seek. Was that clear?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That was awesome. It is clear.
Yes.
It's clear. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. And our child, you have lived as a mermaid in another lifetime. Were you aware of that?
No.
Yes, you have.
It could have been possible, though.
It is, because it is ironic that in that lifetime you mastered the idea of water, breathing underwater, yet in the other lifetimes you needed to master the idea of the opposite of breathing underwater, perhaps transitioning underwater.
Okay.
The
Okay.
next idea of you being a mermaid, and that will also be the other clue that you seek and the freedom of the relationship with the water.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yes. One last message for you. Do you connect with the idea of dragons?
Oh yes, I love dragons. I have three dragons, and one big one.
Know that the dragon energies are guiding you through this specific experience with the water. That they
Okay.
are masters of manipulation of realities. They are creative
Okay.
beings of immense power. Ask them for assistance and guidance with the natural element, essence, and connection with what water is to you, and they will assist you from the beyond.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you, Hazariana, for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Blessed be. Blessed be. Bye bye.
What can you tell me about myself? What do you pick up on for me, or any messages for me?
We are showing the channel the idea of electricity from a physical essence. Are you able to imagine the idea of neurons within your mind or brain?
Yes.
How they are like a lightning type, let's say, format?
Yes.
You have a connection, a direct connection with the tethering of such energetic lines within the fabric of creation itself. You, in a sense, have lived a life and connected with the consciousness idea of what that energy is and the interconnectedness and the flow between all within all. A grander aspect of creation, a very focused idea of beingness. You, in a sense, traveled as the energy itself within the lines that connected everything to all, and within the complexity of the fabric of the universes. The idea of supernova, the creation, the birth of such a being, you also have experienced. You have experienced, let's say, the explosion, not the explosion in the sense that your humanity understands it, but the idea of being born out of matter and energy. That ray of light, of expansion, you remember at times. You are highly advanced in your nature, more than you give yourself credit. The idea of the Himalayas you connect with, breath you connect with, a life of a monk, let's say, or a life of solitude you have lived, to be able to understand yourself more. You have, in a sense, chosen a life to eliminate all the distractions of the world that's on the outside, for you to be able to focus purely on the universe that is contained within you. Bells are being rung. What is your connection with bells? With sound vibration?
Well, I used to be a musician. Not bells, though. That was not my instrument.
Yes. Incorporate the idea of bells in your life. And it may be a tiny bell that produces a very minute frequency and vibration.
I've heard bells. Okay. I have heard the ringing of bells at times that I couldn't explain.
Yes, that you could not explain, yes?
Yes.
Jason, what else that he mentioned uses bells?
I don't know. It's not coming to mind, Jamie.
The monks.
Oh, true.
And how you would hear gongs, bells, sounds, chimes.
True. Gong sounds. Yeah.
Find a bell of your choosing. We recommend a tiny bell. And ring it every once in a while. With each sound and vibration, and you'll know exactly when to use that. You'll be called to use that. With each sound and vibration that you produce, it will awaken you and give you, in a sense, memories for you to remember. As the sound frequency and vibration will take you to the time where you were the master of sound. Size of the bell is irrelevant. What is relevant is the frequency and vibration of the sound itself. The idea of underwater mountains, large structures underwater, are being shown. Almost as if you have lived within the idea of water and had structures and cities there. Do you remember such a lifetime?
I don't. I've had a fear of drowning for a long time. But I have one very vivid dream that's part of my maybe abduction experiences where I was shown a city underwater.
Do you remember the beings that were involved?
I remember there were all kinds of beings, but there were also genetic pre-humans, like almost ape-like, not Bigfoot, but ape-like down there
Within the waters?
within the city that was under there.
Do you remember an octopus type being?
No, but there's a lot I probably don't remember. There's only vague images.
Yes. Connect with the idea of octopus and the many tentacles that they have, as they are very wise creatures of the world of waters. They will assist you in unlocking certain memories from that dream that will help you on this journey in this lifetime. The idea of masks are being shown. A mask across your eyes. Did you used to wear a mask, not physically, metaphorically? Did you used to hide who you were?
Yes.
And you have retired that mask, yes?
Yes.
The idea of time manipulation is coming through, and specifically a scientific structure in a sense. There is an image of a representation of time from a physics aspect visually was being shown to let you know that you have the ability to manipulate time. Well, you all do as divine beings, but in this lifetime, one of your focuses is the ability to manipulate time and shift timelines for yourself very easily. Are you aware that you can do that and have been doing that?
I've had suspicions.
No. No more suspicions. Know that that is reality. Know that that is your gift in this lifetime. And also understand that you do not need to understand the mechanics of how such things occur. Relinquish the idea that you need to know how I can manipulate time, and I'll allow your energy and excitement and vibration and frequency and your consciousness around your physical body to do the work for you. And know that as you create a reality of such that you are moving in and out of timelines.
What if I have a need to know? Like I have this inner need that wants to know the mechanics.
Relinquish the idea of such a need. because your physical mind is already limited in nature. It's a densified, crystallized version of the consciousness idea. And such a dense being, let's say, is unable to understand the infinite and expanded consciousness. So a little trick to do is to allow your energy, light body, and consciousness to be able to decipher to your mind what it needs to decipher and the clues that you need to get to be able to understand what it is. Do not use your mind to be able to understand the beyond. Use the beyond to be able to teach the mind what it needs to know. Be in the moment of the creation. Surrender to what the creation is. The more that you focus on the need to understand all of the steps or all of the elements, the more focus you place on such ideas, the more you are less in the now moment of that beingness. Was that clear?
Yes.
You also have lived a life in the Egyptian timeline of your reality. Were you aware of that?
No.
You have. The idea of a sphinx, the image of a sphinx is being shown specifically for you. As you were the gatekeeper in a sense, or the protector of such a technology. The technology that you were protecting was one of involved with the time manipulation. In a sense, a wormhole, let's say, a gate, a portal to enter different realms. And you were the being that allowed certain beings to come through or not. Idea of fire is coming through. The element of fire. Do you enjoy playing with fire?
I have a healthy respect for it, but I do enjoy sitting by a fire. But yeah, I do. I guess yeah. I don't enjoy playing with it though. Not like that. Watching it.
When we mention fire, we are not meaning the physical structure of a fire on your in your three-dimensional reality. We're speaking of a fire on an energetic sense. Even the image of a fire within your books or on your television set, from a cartoonish, in a sense, type essence, the energy essence behind that is what you connect with. The spark of life, let's say, the fuel of such a creation. But also galactically, as this fire is traveling within the galaxies, interesting concept we haven't connected with before and are connecting with you through that. So thank you for such a new facet of creation. Keep the idea of fire within your field and frequency. Again, from an expanded view of what fire is.
Jamie, do you want? Can you ask for any information for Jamie?
We're showing a temple for that being. That being connect very heavily, let's say, to the idea of temples. A pyramidal structure, but without a point. The pyramid, in a sense, ends at a flat top surface. So imagine a flat top, and then the pyramid goes to the side. Latin American in nature, very ancient wisdom. This being also connects with the idea of shamanism and connection to Mother Gaia. An intense love for Mother Gaia, a personal connection with Mother Gaia. Wolves are running around, are circling that being. Beautiful creatures. Also, a light manipulation, a device was shown that being created in a simultaneous life, a device made of light blue light, that is constantly shifting and reshifting. As you look at this device, it may appear to be, let's say, physical, metallic in nature, but in essence, it is made of light blue plasma. And with that device, she is able to traverse consciousness, not galaxies, not universes. She's able to traverse within the idea of consciousness to other consciousnesses. A very creative way to produce an object to allow her the ability to jump from one consciousness to another at will. Parakeet is around this being as well. Bird energy. Speaking. Strawberry fields are also being shown. Unsure of the connection, but they are here as part of her vibration and frequency. Orion constellation, she is connected with. She lives the life within the Orion belt, let's say. The being is a healer on that planet. Using touch to be able to heal others. Hands were a modality of choice. And music is being played. The being enjoys the sound of music as it heals other beings. A sense of electricity, a sense of energy, magnetic energy that being has. Who connects with the idea of fish beings? Water creatures.
Jamie, for me, I don't
I
know.
can't think of anything.
A being with a fish head was shown. Mouth is elongated, but it comes to a point almost opened out. So head comes down, eyes are here, mouth is here, and it opens up a little bit. Now keep in mind on your journeys in this physical life, some of these images or concepts you may encounter in that specific moment. When you remember the dialogue and the specific piece of information, pay attention to your thoughts, to what is occurring, as those are clues for you to attain, to get.
Yeah. May I ask what the being is that you're seeing, that you're referring to? Is that the fish, or is it a separate being?
Indeed, the fish being is the fish being that you connect with.
Okay.
But there is something special within the formation of its mouth, let's say.
Okay.
The way that it communicates is through sound frequencies as it opens and closes its mouth. Within the waters of such a planet. This being lives within the depth of, let's say, darkness, but is able to see and decipher its surroundings with the idea of sound traveling within water. Although the eyes are large, it is essentially blind as it sees its world through the mouth and lips and sound vibration that it emits. The image of Mother Mary is here.
I have an experience with that.
Yes. Queen of the Hearts is being said.
Do they have a last message for us? Because we are going to have to go to commercial break.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was just thinking to myself, was almost going to ask you a question regarding not a physical heart thing, but it was just interesting you said that right then.
Queen of the Hearts. Within the silence that we gave you was energetic codes to allow you to connect further to the idea of such a word that was deliberately said from that perspective. Heighten your awareness of communication to allow you to begin seeing communication beyond the words that you use as humanity. Hearts are being shown all over.
I was trying to send things to see if you would possibly pick it up.
We need Tony to come back now.
Yes. We thank you for this beautiful co-creation of oneness.
Thank you.
With our bright white light of creation and infinite open heart, we thank you with gratitude for this beautiful co-creation as we have learned through this dialogue more about creation. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we go through the Antarean Stargate where we reside. Hi, guys.
All right, Tony, you readjust ground. We'll do what you got to do. We got to go to commercial break. We got about a half an hour left of the show, guys. We'll call back. We will keep the phone lines open when we come back from the commercial break. Just remember to call in after the commercial break. All right, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated. I will hear it.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up.
Do,
Ray. Be gone.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID jblandoo or jblandparanormalsoup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Tony Gazi. We just had him doing a session with a couple callers and with me and Jamie, a channeling session. Very interesting. I got a lot I want to unpack and talk about this. Phone lines will be open. I don't know if we're going to do any more channeling because we have less than a half an hour left. And we're definitely going to have to get Tony back on to give him more time to do this with you guys as callers. So we're definitely going to have him back on. Don't forget, guys, you want to help support the show. We have YouTube Super Chat you can donate on, or you can also find us on Patreon, Jason Bland, Paranormal Soup. $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever you can help. Donate, pays for this show, helps pay for the bills of this show. So everybody who does donate on Patreon or on Super Chat, thank you so much. It helps pay the bills. Thank you to everybody who shares out the show. Keep showing people with us where, as you witnessed tonight, where the paranormal happens live. We've only got less than a half an hour to get to, so let's go ahead and get back to our guest. Thank you for hanging in there with us, Tony, for this last half hour of the show. Like I said, a lot to unpack there from the readings that you did. I was trying to take some notes from what you were saying. Like, Jamie, I didn't want to interrupt or anything while you're doing the channel. I want to interrupt that process or the communication between you and whoever called, like Azeriana. But was it Azeriana or was it somebody? We just had another guest on that was talking about a living ship. And one of my callers and their connection to it. Was it Azeriana? Azeriana, you still there? Was that you? I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt. I'm wondering if she's still in the chat room there. I'd love to know. Was it her? Because we had a guest.
I'm thinking so because she'll share certain premonitions or visions with some of us, and some things that she's mentioned has definitely involved ships
And a living ship.
On a living ship, yeah.
Another conversation we've had. I thought it was Ziriana, and maybe I'm wrong.
That was why I wanted her to call in because she's got so much to her.
For myself, you brought up the monk thing. Well, one of my two very vivid dreams of a past life, I was a Buddhist monk, and in that dream, that vision of my past life. I mean, I've had a lot of fascination. You mentioned bells. I have a lot of fascination with Tibetan Buddhism, and I have like a poster of that. But I don't know if I was Tibetan Buddhist because I wore black robes. It was more jungle, and I had ratted out my temple leader for opium use, and being like almost like a false prophet in a sense. To whatever military or whoever was in control of this area. All I remember is guys in gray uniforms, gray soldier uniforms, and very primitive rifles, and them coming and killing everybody in the temple, and me running for my life in the jungle, and it ends with me being shot in the chest.
Okay, so I don't remember everything, but as you speak, I get memories. The image that I see right now, and I have to close my eyes like for a second, is like not of this lifetime. This is a very different lifetime where you were very connected with mountains. There was snow there.
Mountains.
Like
snow, but all mountains.
I mean, sure, you may not, but like just the image that they give is a very large mountain. You like living a very secluded life because you wanted to connect with yourself.
That's how I am.
Yeah, the idea of bells is really coming back again, very strong, and it's not a big bell, a small, tiny bell, but just it's like almost like the dinging of the bells will help you remember more.
You can ask my wife. There's times we've had where we hear a ding of a bell, and I don't know where it came from. Can't trace it. I think I'm checking iPads and stuff, make sure it's not that. It's been a while, but it's happened.
Then maybe that's self trying to communicate with you.
But the whole isolation thing, besides being a lonely child, but at one point in my life, right before I met my wife, I was hardcore thinking about joining a Buddhist temple. Like I wanted to totally isolate from the world and seek that. So that makes a ton of sense.
Thank you. I mean, look, I know nothing about either of you or your people,
No.
or not your people, but your audience. So thank you, because that helps me kind of because sometimes it's crazy information, right? Because I re-listen to the recordings, see like what was said, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. Like,
yeah, I was taking
but
notes.
not everything is now. Things could come later. Sorry.
Yeah, the timeline thing is very interesting because it's something I've thought about since I was a little kid. Before I even heard scientists or people talk about multiverse, I've had these concepts in my head.
You are an expert of that. That's why you have that like affinity and that like desire to learn more. There is no learning needed. Like what I'm really feeling is you're like tricking yourself. You need to learn because you already know that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yes.
And like now I don't know who this like image came to of the blue. Oh God.
That's for Jamie, I believe.
Jamie. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the blue machine or whatever you call, I forget what they said exactly, but it's coming like you invented this oblong looking like thing that's made out of this blue plasmic energy that allows you to travel consciousnesses. Like that's an insane topic. Like what does it mean to travel consciousness? I don't know, but I can feel that you can go into consciousnesses to other consciousnesses. Like almost body hopping, let's say. Or like
I
soul
do know how
hopping.
to remove myself from and I attribute that to trauma, but I can completely look like I'm sitting there and take myself out and go somewhere else if I need
It
to.
comes from your near-death experience.
Yeah, and like trauma with the abuse.
I'm getting chills. So that's
And
crazy.
the healing hands, like the people close to me, ever since I was a kid, the me healing with my hands has been a very big thing. And my closeness with Mother Earth and nature, and I'm actually a pagan.
What? Look at the chills. What? Oh my God.
I'm
Oh,
so
I
curious
felt.
about the being,
Oh.
the fish being.
I took notes too.
That'll come up later.
Yes.
The mask thing's interesting because, like I said, I always felt like I was an alien. And until I hit my 20s, I felt like I was pretending with people on everything. And until I suddenly just didn't give an F.
And you went by a different name at that time, kind of, didn't you?
Jay. Everybody would call me Jay. I hate it. Now, in my work, I have a manager, a friend, he goes by Jay. I go by Jason, and another one that's supposed to be Jason there goes by JB. But, I don't want to be called Jay. I don't like it because it brings back memories of when people put me as, it's like, I always talk about this, people put you as a perception. They think you're this person, and you start to become it. In a sense, you start to play into their own perception of who they think you are, and I had an awakening to a point. Is like I'm not that person they perceive me to be, and I need to stop playing into it. And be me.
Yeah, and so it's like back to the pagan thing. I could feel your love to Mother Earth. Like it's not like a love how we think. I love Mother Earth. It's just this interconnectedness and one with it.
Part of it, yeah. Like everything's one. We're all connected. We're all part of the stars, everything that makes up the stars, the dust.
You're like, and then the like the fire idea, did that come to you, Jason?
Yes, and it's interesting you say this because I've been off and on in my years. I haven't done it in a long time. I used to write a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a story idea that's coming back to me. It's kind of dark. It's me facing kind of the darkness inside of this story idea, the inner beast or whatever. But as fire is a concept in it, yeah.
Yeah, but like this is fire, and it's not like the fire that we see here. Like if you light a fire, it's like an energetic fire that travels like universes and galaxies. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just this energy format with a look of a fire, but there's something with it. I have no idea. I don't know what they said, but I'm feeling it right now. It's transcend the idea of what our fire like looks like. This is, I don't know, but like something's gonna come up with that idea, for you.
Well, when you brought up Egypt and that, and you bring up fire, I mean, I've always had I have fascination with Egypt and history of time period of Akhenaten was a pharaoh, where they also had a time of famine and disease. There's a great book on this where we reached a point in our journey through the galaxy, in a sense, where we entered a certain cosmic solar radiation at that time that could have caused infertility and other changes and stuff. And I've been fascinated with that. I'm fascinated with a lot of things, though.
Sure.
It's the only thing I can think of, because that's a fire in space in a sense, but it's solar radiation.
Ah, maybe that's what it was.
Gemini is air, right?
Yeah, I'm Gemini.
Yeah, so not a fire sign.
Yeah,
I'm air.
I'm also an earth.
The gatekeeper thing also ties to my story idea. And
oh, really?
And yeah, because mine's about a hellhound.
Okay.
Basically, they is searching down demons from a portal that was opened in ancient times.
Yes. A hellhound. That means a dog?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated. I've had dreams of big black dog and the idea of hellhounds.
Okay.
That of something that's fascinated me for years.
Okay.
Mainly because of some of the strange dreams I've had.
Yeah.
And I've researched a lot on the myth of the hellhound.
Yes.
Dogs are always keepers of the gate. If you look at Egyptian Lord Anubis, had a dog head.
Yes.
Cerberus, three dog heads, but dogs. And there's other mythologies of that.
Yeah. That's funny because I have an artifact that's Anubis that's like really, really old.
Really?
Yeah. Let me show you a picture.
Yeah, I wanted to be an archaeologist, or it was my really young brain kid, but I wanted and interested to be an archaeologist.
Wow.
I love history.
Wow. Amazing. I'll try to show you. Sorry, 1 second.
No problem.
And this came into my field. It's like supposedly 8,000 years old. And I'm getting it carbon dated.
Where did you get it?
I found it at this event, but let me show you the back quickly before I answer. And look what you see. Aliens and Anubis.
Aliens scratched on.
Yes. Yeah. And you have like an American, I'm sorry, like a where's my
Mesopotamian?
Or like the bottom part where like the person is like dead. They're kind of Latin American. We have Latin American, Aztlan. That's the word I'm looking for. So you have Aztlan, you have Greys or whatever, and then you have Anubis. Isn't that crazy?
And where'd you get this?
So I got it from a guy. So it's like there's this family that's in Ojuelos, Mexico, that on their land they uncovered all these ancient artifacts that were buried like 6 feet under. And I met him at like one of like the events. It is called Disclosure Fest. And it was a whole like synchronistic thing where like, I passed the booth and I didn't see anything. And on the way back at a small angle, like I see like Anubis's head, but I didn't know who he was, but my eye went straight to it. And it wasn't for sale. And like the guy, like wasn't going to bring it like with him. And I'm like, I have no idea, like what this is and like, what is it? And he said that it's Anubis, blah, blah, blah. I said, please don't sell it. I have to have this. And like 3 months later, like we kind of discussed price, and I thought he would sell it, but he kept it for me, which is crazy. And he gets people from all over the world that want to buy it.
It was meant for you.
Exactly. And I mean, I've had some amazing things with other people like with it. But it's packed right now because we just traveled. I just got back from Connecticut a few days ago. Just crazy, just insane.
It'd be interesting because I mean, there's places, if it was discovered. Where did you say it was discovered? Ethan said.
Ojuelos, like Mexico.
It's in Mexico.
Yeah.
And what's it? I mean, It'd be interesting, because wonder who traveled what part, if there were actual Egyptian artifacts found there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out, though. We've talked about this on the show. I have to bring it up because I've talked about it on the show.
Please.
In Mexico, South America, there's this whole. We're gonna make something look like an artifact and sell it to a tourist. Like Alien is a big thing right now. Really big.
Okay.
South America, Mexico. So
Sure.
get it carbon dated and see. I'm just saying that I have mentioned because I've actually talked about this on the show.
Sure.
That this is a very much common phenomenon now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, one of my friend's moms, who's a retired teacher, she took a whole trip because she watched Ancient Aliens. She wanted to go down. She's living my dream, retirement bucket list, going down to like Peru and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people as they awaken are going to these places. And so it's a tourist market, and people are going to want to make money, and they might draw some aliens on some stuff and say it's an artifact. I'm not saying that's what you have. I'm just saying we've talked about that on the show.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. So, just I don't know. Life has been magical, just magic. Just trusting. What happens. Like no more kind of thinking in 3D. Just living in the 5D or higher, and
trust the process, trust the divine timing, and just trust the flow.
yes, and forget about fear, forget about those stories. We're so trained to think like from a fearful place. We're so trained to think of like disempowering ourselves. Like we disempower ourselves and others all the time. And I don't like anymore. I see everybody as a light being, and I see everybody as pure divine, and whatever they're going through, it's just expansion, right? And it's not me like feeling bad for this person or like that person, or even the idea of war. I don't see it as like people killing each other, right? So of course I'm stuttering now because I'm back to reality. Before I wasn't stuttering, I don't think.
It's almost 2 a.m. where you're at too, so you're forgiven.
Yeah, but it's just trusting the flow and just knowing everything is divine and everything is happening for our expansion, for our connection with who we are, and it's just redefining things like from a very positive way. You know what I mean? And that creates the next step of like positivity. And if you don't want to think positive, that's totally fine too, because it's also part of creation, and like there's no judgments. That's the other thing that's hard for people to kind of conceive.
I've had that feeling of my one experience of what I believe was touching the divine, God, the Force, as I'm a Star Wars fan, like to call it.
Yeah.
Is where I mentioned my shadow person experience.
Yes.
This went on for months, and then ended with this thing levitating me up off my bed. So this was my negative, right? This is negative experience. But at that moment, I humbled myself and said, "I'm sorry" to God, and pray. In my mind, I couldn't talk; I was paralyzed.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, "Please, God, forgive me. I'm so sorry." And I felt this overwhelming force come into my room, and this bright light come upon this thing, and it screeched and was gone. And I dropped the bed. But in that moment, time slowed down, and I felt the most overwhelming, loving compassion. All the things this thing used against me, my insecurities, fears, regrets, everything. It was like at that moment, it's all understood and forgiven. No judgments on even on the entity that was attacking me. It was like the only other time I felt that is when I think I know. I don't think I know. I felt it one more time like that intense when I saw a translucent image of my 8-year-old son many years before he was born in my parents' living room. That's the only other time I really felt it that strong. But I call it the Force, love, God, whatever. It made me understand there's something that's always there. You're never alone, and you're not judged.
Yes. And that, like, you're not judged is what really healed everything. And it like made you snap into like the love that you are, because that being that took you off the bed or whatever he did, it was you like to begin with. That's right. That's like another version of you.
Right. The shadow. Right.
Everything is out. Exactly.
And again, this is going back to something I've been thinking about very heavily lately for a fictional story. Right? So it's funny you bring up some of the concepts of my story that I've been thinking about today in that channel. So that is pretty awesome.
And look, like I keep telling you, you are an ascended master, and like listen to the examples that you just gave us, right? The fact that you that like you met a shadow self and like it was able like to levitate you, and then like God came in, or like the idea of love came in, and it did X, X, Y, and Z, and then your translucent son who wasn't born, like all those are like clues like for you that you are ascended beyond what you remember.
I've seen a lot
you
of
are.
weird stuff. That's why I'm
But you
into
see a
this.
lot of
So,
weird stuff because you
yeah.
are super connected and aware of your connection, and it's not weird, it's all natural.
Yeah.
It's who we are. And both of you are, right? Like I'm just saying you because like when I delivered that message, it was for you
Yeah.
specifically.
Where can people? So I want to get out your information more to people. So what's your website where people can contact you or get more information on you?
Yeah. So if you go to Toni Ghazi.com, so ToniGhazi.com, and I'm also at the Antarean Heart on YouTube and on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
You're right.
Yeah. So or Twitter X. Yeah, that's where I am, and my store's there. I have my praying mantis skulls there, and I'm gonna put more photos there. All my events are there. I have got 12 events before the end of the year, a lot. So you can come live, see me. We can channel like on Zoom. Like I do group channelings. I do corporate stuff too. I'm also writing a book like before the end of the year, so a lot going on.
Do you have a title for the book yet, or?
It's probably going to be channeled messages from the Mantis beings, like something like that. And then my story, like with it. So I'm going through all my channeled messages and how like they were said, and I want to kind of verbatim put them down, and like organize them, however they like were said. If it's fear, if it's this, if it's expansion, if it's whatever.
And I
So
bet
I'm
you'll
working-
discover a lot more as you write it. Like I said,
know.
I feel you as soon as you came on and started talking. You're into the channel, but there's so much more I think you got about your past and those experiences that are going to come to you. Just because I've seen it happen to others.
Yeah.
That start, you start down this road. I'm a big fan of an old radio host called Art Bell.
Okay.
When you get into these topics, he'd take a classic line from our favorite movie of mine as well called Contact, and goes, "You want to take a ride?"
Oh, I love it. I
Because
love it.
it is, it's going to take you to a lot of different places, and
Yes.
are you ready?
Yeah.
That was
And I
the
really,
question.
and I really mean what I said earlier. That like both of you have really activated me in like ways I did not expect, and I want to thank you both for it because I never thought of my childhood. The reason I don't remember it is because of a screen memory, or like memory got wiped or got repressed. However we want to, I just never saw that. It's crazy. And now I'm like, what? And it makes total sense because the way that I awakened, it was very fast. Like, I mean, it was lightning speed.
We talked about it on the show during COVID, that I said, who's out there, now
Yeah,
they've been going through their busy lives and now they suddenly have to stop.
yeah,
And this is the time when people, I think, at that time, like you,
yeah,
had these scenes there. They were always there with them, but life is nothing but distractions and busyness and keeping. I remember when I was 20, when I got all spiritual. I'm like, why can't people think about these deep concepts and be spiritual and get into meditation? And then I became 21, 22, 23, 24, got married, and bills and stress and life and work. And I go, okay, that's why. Adulting. Okay, I got it. I totally understand. Get off my damn high horse. So like, yeah, COVID is like gave people a chance. One good thing to like sit and reflect and connect.
Yeah.
These things, they didn't even know use inner voice or beings. They're there,
yeah, yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Say anything else. One thing I want to say, Tony, is we definitely want to get you back on the show, and I'd love to give you more time with callers. You said you could channel for 2 hours. Well, if I advertise you're going to channel, which I didn't with this show, I didn't advertise it because I didn't know for sure how that would go.
No problem.
But next time we can advertise it more, and I will get more callers.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure. If I say we have call in for a live channel, people will, and so I will. We'll give you more time if you want to do it.
That would be awesome. I mean, I love to do it. It's and like when I hear the feedback, it just makes me feel even like more happy. It's like, oh my God, this is real. Like, it's just we always need confirmation in a
little bit of validation.
Totally, in a super weird way, because you always get validated every single time, and you feel super satiated. But then you do it again, and you're like, it's pretty.
It never fails to energize you.
Totally. So,
Yeah.
so thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's.
And
Yeah.
also let me know when when you're finished with the book is coming out too.
I will.
Yeah,
The
let me
goal is
know.
to get it done by the end of the year. So
I can't talk. I was talking about a story idea I had like 15 years ago, and I'm still coming back trying to rewrite it. So I
Listen.
can't talk about writing a book.
Okay, look, I get things done, and like because I never saw myself ever writing a book, I had 3 or 4 channel messages where everybody said that I'm gonna write a book. I'm like, no way on earth.
There it is. There, I knew it was Ziriana right there. Thank you for finally getting back. I knew we talked about her being in a living ship. I knew we had that conversation. So when you brought
Was
that
that
up, I was
message
like,
for her or
right
for?
yeah, that was the one you did a channel for. And I said when you brought up a living ship, I'm like, we've talked about this with her before. I wrote it down. I circled it on my thing here. As Ziriana. I put her
Wow.
name, and I have the ship here. I was like, because I know we talked about that. Thank you, Ziriana. See, more confirmation for you, Tony. It was
Thank you,
awesome
Ziriana.
having you on. We will definitely get you back on and give you more time to do more of these guys. We'll definitely have them back on for anybody who didn't get to call in tonight. Thank you so much, Tony. That's it for the show. We will be back next Sunday, same bad time, same bad channel, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow and subscribe. You can also help out the show by donating on Patreon under Jason Bland and Paranormal Soup. $1 a month, $2 a month does help pay the bills. And Super Chat. Thank you to everybody who shares out the show. Keep telling people where Paranormal happens live on Paranormal Soup, like you saw tonight. All right, guys, have a great night. See you next week.